2, we'll have to see. Our next match coming up is going to be Tropa Suprema versus Taiwan team. Tropa Suprema, of course, you know, familiar faces here. Same players, right? New month, different name. Excited for this one, Ark.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to seeing how this one does fare. Ready, we're going to actually wave goodbye to you, so you're not actually going to be in for this game, but we'll be coming back to you very shortly. We're going to bring Teddy in from the wings after these messages. Good recommendation from that fine gentleman who put forth that idea. It is about, well, I woke up at, well, I didn't wake up. It's 3 a.m. when I went to have a shower this morning. It's now 5:30 in the morning, so we're definitely feeling pretty sleepy here right now, Teddy, but we're still feeling pretty good, all things considered, right?
Yeah, I mean, what a better way to start the day than some Brawl esports action. We're already at 2 quarterfinals behind us. We're moving on to quarterfinal number 3. That's going to be Tropa Suprema versus, well, I couldn't quite catch their team name. We'll see it soon enough, but we have the players here. Rio High, Mole, Aaron, PowerTech, LCC, Amaze. It's going to be quite an exciting matchup, maybe a bit more evenly matched as well than some of the previous ones that were very one-sided. I'm hoping for so. I think this could be a good one.
Yeah, I mean, it's Tropa Suprema's first time again. So, you know, I mean, having said that, you know, Emperor, despite them having already competed in monthly finals, that's the thing. The team name was the first time they've been here, but the actual players themselves had competed before. That was their first appearance. First appearance for Tropa Suprema, third appearance for Taiwan team. They were the former Ice Barn, or no, sorry, Tropa Suprema was the former Ice Barn slash former Joker team. So they've had a couple of variations along the way. This is their third team name lucky.
Well, we'll see if it's gonna bring maybe a bit of a different result. Hot Potato is gonna be the map to kick things off for some heist action, factory rush in Siege, and potentially Shooting Star for Bounty if it comes down to a third set. Interesting, quite a bit of control modes ahead of us. We'll see how that plays out. I mean, Hot Potato, you know, very notorious for just a green line of grass that splits the map apart. I think Rico is one of the brawlers that is very iconic to this map. Barley as well, just brawlers that you see very, very often played out here, a bit less often on some other maps, particularly for Rico. Any bans that you feel like are very fit for this matchup?
You know, it's about whether you want to play the kind of short game or the long game. That's the kind of thing for me. I think that personally, I wouldn't kind of ban specifically around this map, and that does, well, actually the Barley pick could be specific to Hot Potato. It's a very common pick, but ultimately one that does also do a great deal of work in Factory Rush in Siege. So I kind of like that. I'm kind of surprised it does open the doors for Lou. We'll have to wait and see when we get to Siege, but ultimately I do think that Bella Stu is a solid, actually the max too. I like all the bans, Teddy. How do you feel about them?
I like them a lot. I mean, I think that Belsu and Barley, as well as Max, they all apply very much for Hot Potato early on. So just, you know, being a bit cautious regarding that. We have Edgar coming in, and Rio just picking up 2 quick kills off the bat to open things up for his team to do a little bit of damage. It's not a lot, but it's going to be some more control as well. And just a little bit of a panic state overall for Taiwan right now.
I actually really like the Edgar pick. Edgar's a really, really solid counter to Rico, and Rico being such a prominent brawler here, I think it makes a lot of sense. Ultimately, you know, Aaron can break open a lot of this map, so I think that's the thing that they're going to be careful of, but at the same time, look at that right-hand side lane pressure that we're seeing is now all 3 members of Tropa Suprema can start to lay down some fire, and it's Taiwan team back for early on.
Yeah, that turret from Mole not going to last very long, but Rio jumping in once more. It's just going to be so much damage. They could even close this one out right here, right now. The turret is placed. Will get deleted by a Maze Super, but look at that. Aaron just able to close things out. That's a quick first game. Definitely very much in favor of Tropa.
Yeah, I mean, they look very confident. I got to say, like, for me, that Edgar pick, you know, said so much about their awareness as to why they're choosing the brawlers they are. And I mean, look at the value that was off the back of that Jesse turret as well. I think that Brock's an interesting choice for me, but one that really worked out well and can do a lot of work against the Rico pick, which requires his walls to get a ton of value.
Yeah, I completely agree. We have the Brock versus Ruffs matchup here between Aaron and ICC. I mean, overall, no big surprise there, especially since Taiwan didn't really deal any damage on Tropa's safe in that game. So obviously, that's going to be very much inflated in favor of Tropa. They looked really solid in this one, and honestly, if you looked at the comms, like, I agree, I really like the Edgar pick, particularly to try to counter that Rico, but in the end he wasn't even playing that lane, and I don't know how the Brock was winning so consistently without opening up the map too much against the Rico. Somehow it worked out just fine. So very surprising results on that matchup, in my opinion, and we're going to see it again this time around. Rio is going to be switching off to a Carl, and Taiwan, I don't think they switched out any brawlers. Interesting that they feel like it was, an execution problem rather than a comp problem in the first place.
Yeah, that could well be it. I kind of feel like, for me, I don't know. I mean, they obviously, like you say, feel confident in going that same idea. Well, let's see. Let's not call it too early. Let's see how they do fare. As I mean, it's definitely a slower paced game, but ultimately that Jesse turret now connecting a lot of shots. It's a healthy lead. It's got to be said already for Tropa Suprema. 60 or, well, 53 or 50% now on the safe as the Carl goes in there with a ton of connecting fire. A glimmer of hope. 25% on the Tropa Suprema safe already caused in terms of damage, which is more than last game. So maybe you're right, Teddy. Maybe they'll start to turn this one around.
Yeah, well, so far it's better from Taiwan team. Is it good? Maybe not quite. Yeah, surely not good enough, as Tropa still has a pretty solid lead. Mo was an aggressive turret once again. Gonna get deleted really quickly, but it is using a lot of ammo, sometimes some supers as well. So a way to kind of diffuse the situation around that. Rio was a nice kill onto a maze on the right-hand side. Not sure if that's going to be enough to open things up a whole lot just yet, but Rio is able to get a nice flying hook, a bit of damage as well, and he's going to just make it out alive up there, and Mo might be able to get some more damage. Never mind. This is going to be Taiwan team's chance to push up and maybe find a little bit of damage.
The Red Bull retreat was shut down quite early on, and I did think the SC priority was a good star power for me from Colonel Russ, but ultimately you want to get that supply drop in the hands of your teammates, and the way that that player was using it so aggressively meant that no one could pick it up, and now we see on the other side Tropa Suprema coming in with a ton of fire, and that is it. We are done with Heist. I mean, it lasted longer. We gave the benefit of the doubt, the idea of playing the same comp but just better. But ultimately, still for me, Tropa Suprema looking very, very comfortable. It wasn't quite the same on the other side of the coin for Taiwan team.
Yeah, it was still a very convincing win, like, sure it was a lot better than game number 1, but I think they set a pretty, fair standard to beat in that first game. It's better, if they keep improving at this pace, maybe we'll see them pick up a game or two in the next set. There's still, some room to improve, as Tropa did look like the much better team. But, I mean, it's all about improving, getting better. And if you can do that in the middle of your match, then surely, by no means, just go for it.
Yeah, I mean, if you can, try and learn from mistakes as you go, it's not ideal, but, it's better than not learning from them at all, I guess. Absolutely. I think you're absolutely right, though. I mean, it was better, but I don't think it's quite good enough at the moment. I think the Taiwan team really need to up their game, start to kind of make some big changes and kind of be a bit daring, try to adapt a bit more in terms of their choices. I kind of liked the Brawlers when we sort of saw them for the first time, but ultimately there was some quite clear counters for me, which were going to cause some problems. And despite seeing the egg, they didn't change away from the Rico, and that could have been a Brawler which was played for a second time, and it wasn't. And in Factory Rush now, this is their time that they've really got to slow down the pace, collect a lot more bolts, get that first push. For me, I think that a key Brawler to help do that could be Lu, and I've got to say, I don't really feel, based on that last matchup, like that Taiwan team are the team that are going to kind of bring that Brawler to the mix first. This is my gut feeling right now.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be tough, especially with some of the decisions just in the comps in the first place. I don't think they had a bad comp. I just feel like when you lose 100% to 0, you probably need to go for something pretty different. Like, if it was the result of the second game, in game one, where it's like a 50% difference, I would have said, sure, it could be an execution problem. When it's 100%, I don't know. I feel like they should have maybe taken a bit more of a risk, because it was just looking like if they maybe don't stand a chance. And I'm hoping that in Factory Rush we do get some riskier comms. Well, look at that, Leon coming in. Honestly, it's not going to be that bad against Mortis.
Yeah, it was that bad. It would be a really, really good for us to have to go up against the Piper, but ultimately, yeah, like you just literally called it. LCC with the take down the right-hand side there, but you know, again, that loop pick is going to come in so nicely on the defensive. The one thing that I must say, despite the tie now that we see this the tie siege, the one thing that is definitely going to go in the advantage of Taiwan teams is the Piper being able to break open that mid will actually deflate a lot of what Lu is able to do in the defense. So, despite not going in with the Lu, I do kind of understand why they've gone with Piper here. It's just about this Mortis pick and whether it can apply the pressure, and we see a little bit of a dive there already from Aaron, who wants to get some damage early on, and he's already got 24% without even a push.
Yeah, LCC gonna get frozen at the worst moment. No cover for him. Interesting super from PowerTech. I mean, with Piper, I always like opening the map. You know, it's always a good idea. But maybe there were some ways to do that a bit more efficiently. Mole is going to be able to survive off that freeze. Great way to just bank that extra ball. This siege ball is surely going the way of Tropa Suprema, but Taiwan, they have a pretty nice bolt count for the next one. They will have to survive off this level 12 bot first.
Now, the break did actually, I wasn't sure whether Aaron did get the break in the nice cycle there, but I've got to wonder whether the Mortis can get enough hits, but that isn't going to matter, honestly, because Aaron's got such a nice line of fire. That is going to be it. I mean, that was kind of smart. There was some amazing body blocking, I've got to say, to make sure that the push was inbound. But a ton of work was done without even a bot present. Aaron was just kind of diving in the early stages, and it really, really came back nicely. Leon for me is an odd one here. I don't think it served as well as they were hoping it to do, but yeah, look at this. Tropa Suprema already on match point then, and looking really, really good.
Yeah, man. I mean, honestly, I kind of like the Leon pick. I feel like it did work pretty well against a Mortis, but it's true that the advantage of a Mortis in that situation is that it doesn't even need to go for the fight, right? It can just move from bolt to bolt, kind of just hop in, hop out, and not really go for pure 1v1 duels, which without a super he surely will lose against Leon. So I don't know. I feel like overall here, what I found the most impressive is that off one siege bot level 12, they were able to one push it with a Mortis, which is like the worst brawler in the game to deal damage on the Ike. I just find that so crazy, right? Because it went so fast, and sure, Brock deals a lot of damage and Lu as well, but just how?
I mean, ultimately, you know, being able to break open that defensive layer early on was a really, really good move from Aaron. You know, use the rocket fuel to make sure that the bot had a really direct line of shot going in. We're going to see the Mortis counted on the other side with another Mortis. Gold Mortis this time, so it's actually Night Witch Mortis, which is superior. And I would definitely agree with that statement. Let's see, though, at the same time as the map continues to get broken up by PowerTech, whether this lack of cover is going to affect Tropa Suprema in any way at all.
Well, right now, it is gonna be some awesome Primo action, but the level 4 siege bot it is gonna get to that Ike. That's gonna be some nice early damage, actually some pretty decent damage, all things considered. And look at that, they're going for the full dive. They're trying to finish this one off, and I think they might do just that. Aaron doesn't quite go for the final shot. Mole just playing around. He could have just dived on the Ike, right?
Yeah, and if he had it, probably would have been one of the fastest games of Siege in the region. Yeah, I mean, Tropa Suprema now are literally, quite literally playing with their food. They have done enough. I'm sure they feel it. And look at this. I think Aaron can just tank this all the way in. One shot. Well, actually, no, it's going to go down. I don't know whether it's going to make much difference. We shall see. I'd quite like to see Mole with another Primo Suplex into the Ike radius to get some damage on his opposition. That was a really hilarious moment for me. That is going to be a dive they were in that we didn't get to see. But wow, I mean, that was a big statement, Teddy.
Yeah, honestly, I do feel like we've seen some good improvements from Taiwan team throughout this match, but it just was never quite enough to match with the raw strength here from Tropa Suprema. that will take the win and move on to the semifinals.
Yeah, they look to me the more experienced team. Again, certain little picks and choices that they made for me just kind of stood out quite early on, and I mean they just looked so composed, so confident. They didn't really have many moments when they were kind of like, you know, shoved into the back of a corner or on the back foot too much. They were kind of very aggressive in their approach, which I really like. I think that a lot of the times when you are aggressive, you are rewarded for doing so, and just looked very, very good to me today.
Yep, I think so too. Just, you know, more on point. I think that some of the basics were just much better mastered by Tropa, and it was very clear to the Taiwan team. Honestly, I'm still very impressed with how much they improved game to game, except for the final game, I guess. You know, that shows that there is that room for improvement and the ability to get better. And hopefully, well, next month we'll be able to see that progress.
It's that final push, which is almost a one push. I think it ends in 3%. Aaron was, running not the go-to sponge star power there to get the additional damage hits off as well. He probably could have got that last hit as well, I think, but decided to kind of just play it relaxed and I guess try to, you know, let their opposition just kind of stir in the moment a little bit there. But we see the comparison between their Rioti and ICC, and yeah, I mean it's very much swayed towards Tropa Suprema as you'd come to expect, really, but not by too much. Just 2 more bolts, a few more average kills, and the same average death. So actually the scoreline, not too radically different, but ultimately, you know, when you're looking at the game for what it was, it didn't look like too close to me. It looked relatively one-sided, I would say.
Yeah, I think the first game of Siege was the only real moment where Taiwan team had a good chance, but they couldn't get to that 3rd siege bot. So yeah, it was end of the story there. This does mean that we move
Final is going to be Tropa Suprema versus Queen Nai, and I mean, I no doubt have a favorite here. It's going to be Queen Nai, right? I think that this is my bet, right? If there's going to be anyone to take down Jupiter, it is going to be Queen Nai, right? And we'll just see, like, from month to month how they improve and what sort of progress they make. Tropa Suprema, when we ran the poll, it seemed like only 3% of you guys thought that they would be heading to the grand final and winning the monthly finals. So we'll have to see what the comparison is between these two teams later down the line. But Tropa Suprema, I think they're in for a tough fight coming up versus Queen Nai. I mean, they've had a new name every month, and I mean, the one thing that hasn't changed is that they are pretty consistently doing well in the finals and making it to the semifinals. We'll have to see, though, how do they fare versus Queen Nai?
Yeah, you said it earlier, Queen Nai, pretty much the only team so far that has been a bit more of a challenge for Jupiter to deal with. But, you know, if they want to get to that El Clasico from the East Asia region, then they first need to take down Tropa Suprema here in the semifinals. I mean, as you rightly said, it seems like chat is fairly confident in Queen Nai's ability to take down Tropa Suprema. We'll have to see in practice how this one goes, as Tropa have shown us some decent stuff in their quarterfinals, right? But the quarterfinals, usually there's a bit of a more wide skill gap between the teams, as there are more teams at play, and I'm curious to see how they play once they start being under pressure, when it starts being the opposing team that is the favorite and that is performing better.
Yeah, and I mean, the pressure's cranking up, but look at our maps and modes for our upcoming semifinal match. We're starting things off on Super Stadium. I love this map because you get a nice, you know, kind of open mid, right? It's possible for you to use mid-range brawlers, but long-range brawlers, you know, start to make their debut here as well. Those side lanes, they have bushes that are so great for using some short-range brawlers as well as mid-range brawlers. You get a nice mix of things on this map. I know a lot of people love Backyard Bowl, right? And I used to say Backyard Bowl was my favorite, but I think I've converted, right? I think Super Stadium is not my favorite. Teddy, you definitely had a hand in that. We got our bands coming up as well.
All right, Stu and Bell on the side of Tropa Supremo. Queen Nai going for the Barley and Stu ban. So double Stu ban. I think it's our first double ban of the day, which is quite impressive since, you know, we're in our second to last match of this region. I think it makes a lot of sense, right? Stu is just that good right now. I think that overall, Stu is just better than Bell because it's a bit more versatile. And then Marty, of course, really, really decent Brawl at the moment as well. It seems like chat is pretty convinced about Queen Nai's ability to make it to the grand finals once more. That was a pretty one-sided poll, but look at that, some aggression early on the side of Queen Nai, able to get a nice double kill, giving them still the man advantage, but Mo is still up and alive to defend here and slow things down a little bit.
Yep, and the mirror match as well, I gotta point out. And another thing, we finally see the Gene and Max for the first time this evening. We get to see this dynamic duo. Both Genes have that pole ready to go, but what we're really waiting for is the Max super. Here comes the speed from Mole. Gonna look for a little bit of damage for that next super to pop it off as soon as possible. Here comes the kill on Dempsey. Marlek's gonna look for the defense, but he does get pulled and pushed away, and the lamp blowout coming as well. That is gonna send Mole packing, and Queen Nai once again are gonna push up to mid. No supers with the exception of Dempsey. He is gonna give that speed to Menmi, who immediately finds that super. A great pull on Ryohi, and Queen Nai are gonna be able to push up here. Tropa Suprema trying to get that defense as well as possible. Marlex with looks like an attempted pass towards the left side, which could have resulted in a goal, since we did see that path to the goal open up just a little bit following the pass into the obstacle. Though Tropa Suprema once again pushing up now at a 3v2.
Yeah, this is a good situation for them. Nice pull though from Menmi, able to defuse the situation just a little bit for now, and actually now a push coming through with a nice movement speed popped. Another kill. Menmi going for the pass. Dempsey can't quite score this one in, but at least, you know, they got out of that defensive position they were in earlier, and we are in a bit of a stalemate as overtime is getting closer and closer. Yet another pull from Menmi. I don't even have any time to pass it on to you already.
It's just so much is happening. It goes back and forth, but it's not exchanging mid-control, right? It's exchanging attempts to put this one in the goal. Ryohi's gonna get the speed and the super, looks for the kill on Menmi, does get the kill on Menmi, and the 2v1 here at the goal. Aaron walking it in. Tropa Suprema, they're gonna manage to take game number 1 from Queen Nai, who looks like most people were actually thinking we're going to dominate this one. There's only 17% that were in favor of Tropa Suprema here, but they have managed to not just match, but a little bit outdo the skill level of Queen Nai on this mirror matchup. I mean, if there's any clear indication of, you know, mechanics, it's going to be here in the mirror match. I think well played by both teams. Queen Nai, they definitely came close a few times, but the times that they were really close, it was really just off of a very risky and aggressive play, I believe. Definitely a big blunder there with the pass into the obstacle that could have resulted in the goal earlier on in the game. But look at this combo. I mean, the speed on a Ryohi, and then just this great near team kill as well from Tropa Suprema, clearly in their control.
Ready. I just want to point out that out of our first 5 matches of the day, every time the losing team didn't get a single game going their way, this could be the first match here where that could actually happen. I'm not saying Tropa Suprema is going to lose this one, but I think we have a match that could be a lot closer than our previous ones so far, as Tropa Suprema is quite an underdog, and they are picking up game number 1, which is giving us a bit of a tone of how intense this one is going to be.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, right? It's just been every single match, right? It wasn't a match. It was like a complete steamroll by one side, right? Just a complete blowout. But this time, yes, we got a match. Tropa Suprema really trying to establish the rhyme and rhythm of things. We talk a lot about momentum as well. Pro players will tell you that momentum is absolutely key. And winning this first game does have a hand in how your enemy performs and how you perform in your subsequent games, right? Do you try and play as a team? Do you rely on the teamwork, or do you try and strike out as a lone wolf and go for just 1v1s that end up turning into 1v2s that are not favoring you? Tropa Suprema already trying to get this defense, but we see the comp switch up from Queen Nai. It's gonna be the Sandy coming out this time, and we see all reliable Gene, Max, and Sandy, the comp of last month, Teddy.
Yeah, that used to be the golden trio for Brawl Stars. Right now, a little bit less, as Sandy specifically did get nerfed. But look at that, a push from Queen Knight. This is going to be really hard to start. Only Molt left alive, and there's not enough damage in the world that will diffuse that situation. Queen Knight was the first goal. I think they're mad about that previous game going the way of Tropa Suprema. They're looking to make this one as convincing as it gets. What a beautiful play coming through here from Queen Knight. Everything on point. Pull, the pass, the dash. Everything was absolutely flawless as they secured that game just quick and easy, just like that.
It was like watching the stars and, you know, the planets align all at once. Everything went right there for Queen Nai. I mean, here was the first goal of the game, right? This one decisively in their favor. A great tank and good teamwork from Queen Nai. But look at this one. The Sandstorm to lay down the control and the pull, the pass. Marlix Marlix keeping the control. Mole is able to dash forward. Oh my gosh, absolutely beautiful. It was so close to seeing that defense, but I mean, you know, it's history already. We got a match 1-1 in set number 1.
Yeah, this is the first time today that we go to game number 3 in any sets we've had, which is interesting for the least. But it does show that, you know, the games and matches are getting more and more intense as we get further in the bracket, which is exactly how things should be. So I like that. I like when things make sense, and this is making a whole lot of sense to me. Now, honestly, if you look at both games we've had so far, Queen Eye had the much more convincing win. Tropa Suprema played really well in the first game, but they were a lot more defensive, had to be really careful, and they were able to survive all the way until overtime, where just a couple of seconds before overtime kicked in, they started really going aggressive, turning the pace, and that surprised Queen Eye. That is the kind of surprise that is not going to be working twice. So from what we've seen so far, this is looking like still a pretty good set for Queen Nai. But Tropa Suprema, maybe they can surprise them in another way and turn things around once more.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Sandy was a good switch up, and I don't know if we'll see it going into our next game, but I think, you know, that really did turn the tide of things. We saw that Sandstorm and Tropa Suprema, they were not really ready for not being able to see their enemy. We do see Queen Nai once again bringing out this comp, and Marlix actually goes for the Gadget. Doesn't get it. Dimsy with the attempt to pass it in there. Might have been able to get it with a dash. Aaron was ready with that pull, and he's going to hold on to that pull. Ryohi also ready with the super. No speed yet. Here comes Max once again in the slow from Ryohi. Does manage to get that kill on the Marlix. A great pull as well. Memi not going to be able to defend this ball, and a decisive goal for Tropa Suprema within the first 30 seconds of the game. Kind of looking like a Queen Nai sort of pace from what we saw from game number 2, but already the pull, and here comes the control with the Sandstorm. Ryohi looks for some damage, does manage to get a kill, and what was almost a complete decisive offense from Queen Nai now looks like a Tropa Suprema offense. Oh no! What a colossal mistake!
I mean, to be fair, there was a gene pool coming, right? It was a kick and pull, so if he didn't dash, he would have gotten pulled, most likely. Thing is, no matter what, dashing would not have worked, you know what I mean? Like, this, I don't think there was any way out of there, to be completely honest, because if he didn't dash, he would have gotten pulled, and if he dashed, the ball would just roll in, which did look very silly, but I think there was no way around it. I mean, we'll see it in the replays, but I think there was nothing he could have done in that situation.
That's true. I mean, you know, I think he could have stayed at the goal line, right? Been able to, you know, grab it, of course, with the absence of the gene pull. But I mean, just watching that alone, it really hurt me. It really hurt me inside. Man, that stinks. But, you know, under pressure, right? Anything can happen. You start to lose your cool a little bit. And even though that wasn't necessarily forced by Tropa Suprema, or, you know, you could argue that it was a forced happenstance by Tropa Suprema, they put Dimsy in a really tough situation. Yeah, we get to see the recap once again.
Oh, no, he actually mispulled. He auto-aimed.
No way.
Marlix
he
getting
auto-aimed the pull onto
the
wrong player.
Yeah, Marlix literally just got out of the Sandstorm, and he didn't know that he would, and the auto aim went on him, so the dash would actually have saved that goal. I was thinking that I didn't see the pool, you know, but I did see that afterwards he didn't have his super available anymore, so I just assumed he went for the kick and pull. Oh my, this is just what on earth is that?
I mean, one thing that we will find out in our upcoming set here on Safe Zone is really what Queen Nai is made of, okay? If they're able to recover from kind of a blunder like that, and I'm not talking about, you know, oh, are they able to win 3 sets in a row, right? We know that they can win 3 sets in a row. We've seen it already today. Question is, are they able to recover from that sort of mentally and emotionally? Because you know, we're not just looking at brawlers on the screen. We're talking about players who are piloting these guys, and we know that momentum and sort of, you know, the you know, preceding games can have such a large impact on your subsequent games. How are you going to be able to recover from that is my question. We'll find out if they're going to recover. I don't know if we're going to find out necessarily how, but if they can just like take a deep breath and reset, that is going to be their greatest help right now.
Yeah, you know, I think that all things considered, sure, it was a really solid start from Tropa Suprema. At the same time, I still feel like Queen 9 are the favorites, and they need to keep that in mind. They need to remember that, you know, they are the ones coming in as the favorites and try to go from there, regain some confidence, and once it pays off in game, just yeah, see what's next. So far though, they have better starts. Rio High is gonna fall, but Dempsey is actually gonna get traded out as well. So 2-on-2 scenario, a bit more center control in favor of Queen 9. That's gonna be the first shot from Marlix to connect on the blue safe.
I love seeing the map open up like this, right? Both teams, they just want a clean sharpshooter match. Tropa Suprema, they're going to find exactly what they were looking for. Mole already getting some great hits on that safe. He's also powered up Rio. He's going to be pushing up on the right side. We see the lane switch up. Marlix now switching a little bit more over to the left, or sort of a mid situation. Dempsey, though, looking for that overgrowth on the right side, looking for some long-range hits and some big explosions. Aaron looking for that kill. He's not going to find it on Dempsey. Dempsey with a great hedge is going to find that, and you can also see he's running the second gadget. Or is he? We saw that hedge go down pretty quickly, so I assume he broke it down and is actually using the second gadget. Here comes the hedge as well to block off the mid lane and sort of funnel things over to the right, and it's going to work out beautifully. Marlix and Minmi going for some kills over here. When you're able to just create these choke points with Sprout, it's such a great ally, or you know, such a great benefit to your teammates.
Yeah, there's a 1% damage difference, but Mami is gonna go for the jump. It actually doesn't deal any damage. He's on enemy territory going for a wide flank. I feel like he could have just gone for damage from here, to be completely honest. But he's able to pick up 2 nice kills, maybe even the triple, as Aaron is gonna be solo HP. And now Queen Knight take back the lead, as they are leading by 16%. Aaron gonna get sniped off as soon as he lands off his super man-me with yet another kill. Rio High, so low HP as well. This is looking very good for Queen Knight to pick up the first game.
Yep, Queen Knight, they're coming back strong. It was looking good from Tropa Suprema towards the beginning, but I mean, Queen Knight, once things were opened up, they were able to prove that, you know, this isn't just, you know, Brock wanting to open things up from Tropa Suprema, right? It wasn't just a Brock story. It was, you know, the homemade recipe as well. When it comes to the long-range duelist, Piper, she's always going to be the best, pretty much, right? She, you know, she outdoes B in that regard. She outdoes Bell in that regard as well. And you face her up against Brock, it's going to be the same exact thing. I think this is great play by Dempsey on the right lane to get that sort of get that hedge out right and protect himself versus Aaron. I think pretty solid from both sides. The Queen Knight really showing that, you know, maybe set number 1 was just a fluke. I think this was decisively in their favor.
Yeah, this one was very, very convincing, very strong performance. I do have to say that I think that Tropa showed us some pretty solid stuff here as well. Just I think that the big difference was the jumping from the Piper on the side of Queen Knight behind enemy lines that was just not dealt with. They just didn't care. They didn't even shoot at her once. They just let her be, and she was just sniping people out from behind. And it's already hard when you're in a crossfire and you have to focus on 2 people shooting at you. But when someone is literally behind you, maybe even like, you know, you have to remember, people are playing on their phones, on their iPads, tablets, whatever not, and they're gonna have their thumbs in front of her because she's like below on the map, right? So just such an awkward position, and you need to deal with that as soon as possible. And honestly, like they weren't able to. They didn't even really, assert the resources to make that happen. And I think that was the big mistake that really cost them the game, because from there on it was just so much damage that Tropa were not able to catch up.
Yeah, and we'll have to see, though, what is going to be their approach to this in our next game already coming up. I wonder what sort of brawlers we're going to see this time. And, wow, a complete comp switch up. In fact, it's going to be Queen Knight taking a page out of Jupiter's book, and they're running the Poco and the tanks. Though Tropa Suprema with sort of much of the same. They're going to get Poco and the Daryl on the save. And, wow, a very well-executed gadget as well to secure even more damage. It's going to be a total base race. Mole and Aaron all over Queen Knight's safe. Tropa Suprema taking a lot of damage on their end. We gotta see a continuation of this offense, and Tropa Suprema, they are going to be able to take this base race all the way home. What a quick game that was. Once again, we find ourselves at 1-1. This time in set number 2. I mean, we were saying earlier, we got a match, and it could not be more obvious than now we've had a 1-1 set twice in a row, and it could go either way at this point.
I don't know what I'm watching already. This is as far as it goes from the traditional like EU meta I'm used to. This is interesting. I'll keep it to that. I mean, honestly, I was surprised in the first place that this was a thing, but it is smart. It is clever. If you can go for that, especially as Tropa, a team that is in an underdog position, you want to go for it. You want to try to surprise your opponents, go for those riskier comps that sure might get a hard counter, but they could, find hard counters themselves and get into that nice natural position. And they definitely made that work just fine. Out of nowhere, I mean, it took them 20 seconds to tie things up in the set, and now suddenly they could double down on that lead and go 2-0. Now we have the same comps on both sides. Mirror matchup this time around. Queen Knight was a bit of a better start, but actually Dempsey's low HP. Mole was a bit of an interesting moment here, but look at that nice kill. That's going to be in favor of Tropa Suprema as they try to deal as much damage as they can in this situation. But look at that, Manny is just dealing so much damage. They might be able to catch up here, Queen Knight. Actually, it's a pretty close affair.
Yep, Minmi now going for the offense. Here come the 1680s from Daryl, but this time actually looks like we're gonna see the win there from Tropa Suprema. What on earth was that? 2 games in a row, such quick games, and we're gonna be seeing Queen Knight brought to their knees. We're already heading into set number 3. I mean, close sets, sure, but Queen Knight, I mean, as seemingly the most likely candidate to be facing up against Jupiter as we were, finishing off from last month and heading into this one, I'm pretty surprised here, and I'm sure the people who were voting, I mean, what was it, 83% in favor of Queen Knight are equally surprised. Tropa Suprema, they're looking so great here. I mean, I definitely gotta say, I think Brawl Ball was a little bit of a precedent leading into this one, because we saw, Queen Knight, they're feeling a little bit uneasy following such a blunder, and Tropa Suprema just continue to do what they do. Though I gotta say, I love the surprise coming out with the tank comp as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think Tropa Suprema are playing all their cards right. I think that it's something that does tend to be a little underrated, to go for some very risky comps, hoping that you get a nice counter situation or whatever not. And in this case, it did even more than that in this game. I think it simplified the game a lot, because, it's a lot easier to play a Poco tank max than some of the brawlers that require a lot more skill, a lot more teamwork. And in that way, I mean, you're basically going for 50-50, right? And if you can win it, then it's a free game. And that just happened twice in a row for Tropa, able to really use the brawler picks and comps in their favor, to their advantage, and secure a second set. Now they might actually go all the way with this one and go to their what I assume are their first grand finals in the region.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Our next map is going to be Of course, everyone's favorite, Ring of Fire. It's where we see the Jean and the Pam and the Poco coming out full force to get some amazing healing at mid. Or do we see the Lu at mid? I mean, I'm really hoping we see the Lu. We've seen Lu, here and there on Dueling Beetles when that was in rotation here in East Asia. I'm surprised we don't see it here on Ring of Fire. We will see, though. We were surprised by the sort of base racy comps, and we could just as well be surprised by the loot or the lack thereof.
Yeah, I mean, as you rightly said earlier, if you don't play Lu on this map, you lose. And hopefully those teams will keep that into account. And Reddy said, I'm sorry to disappoint you. No Lu once more. We got some double healers, but different brawlers as Pam and Byron are going to be different picks. I think I prefer the Byron in this scenario, to be completely honest, and so far it is working out better as they pick up the first kill, make it a second, and Rio is just looking to join his teammates in depth.
Yeah, I mean, I think by this point we can tell that Tropa Suprema, they're basically just running what Jupiter was running, but we can see the execution is so much different. Rather, they're getting executed. Queen Nai looking very good so far, keeping the control. We see the Jean just ready with this pull. He doesn't have anyone to necessarily help him out, but he doesn't even need to use the pull. Here comes the pull, pulling Mole off the point. Aaron's ready with the pull as well, but he might just as likely fall to Mimi. Here comes the poke from Marlex. Rio, he's ready to get back up to mid. Does look for the kill first, though. He's been given such a tough time by Marlex just lurking in these bushes. Tropa Suprema trying to push up on the point. Queen Nai, it looks like they've had control for most of this game, but the percentages are quite equal. Queen Nai, though, staying on this point. We do see Ryohi behind them flanking. Mole now stepping onto this point, and Tropa Suprema looking to bring back the percentage here.
Yeah, this is a close one right here. Queen Nai still was a bit of a lead, but more center control in favor of Tropa, and that is the percentages banking in. Marlex was a great pull, could be the opening. This is looking like Queen Nai. Oh my god, they're almost perfectly tied up. Still the man advantage, but never mind. Now man advantage in favor of Tropa. Who's gonna win it first? It's gonna be Tropa. 1% difference. I don't even dare to say 1%. I think that was like 0.2% difference at this point, but that means match point for Tropa. As you said earlier, all the stars, all the planets are lining up for Tropa to win this one as they get 2 match point opportunities against Queen Nai.
This is amazing, and as you rightly said, 2 match point opportunities. Even if Queen Nai takes it back in game number 2, we still see the match point for Tropa Suprema. This is looking so amazing for them. I mean, we saw a name change from last month. They were Joker formerly, and we see kind of a skill change as well. Looks like they've really been working on their team synergy. Look at Mole here with 42% of the team damage as Max. Typically we see Max is, just sort of a support role. Look, he got 1 kill and 4 deaths, right? He was going so aggressive, going behind, flanking. It's all about keeping the enemy off of the point and distracting them and opening up opportunities for your teammates to get on that point. So playing a support, right, getting in, but also being a harasser on the left lane, getting behind in those bushes and trying your best to just keep your opponents distracted, get them off the point. It's what Ring of Fire is all about, and it's working so well for Tropa Suprema so far. Though, with game 1 out of the way, I think, if we're about to call back to safe zone, this is when we see the crazy comps start to come out, and perhaps even a mirror match.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, honestly, Queen Nai were playing slightly better in that game. And it was, we can't argue that it was a bit of a lucky win, right? Whoever had that percentage banked first was just such a close affair. I'm not even sure, can you draw in hot zone at 100%? Is that even a thing? Can you technically both teams reach 100% at the same time? That is a really interesting question that will require some testing, but they're capitalizing of that luck. You can't be lucky for 8 sets or 8 games or 9 games, because that's pretty much what it takes to be in this position here with this match point. But a better start from Queen Nai is going to give them some early control and an early lead in percentages as well.
Yeah, whiffed pull from Minmi is not going to look too good for Queen Knight, though they are leading by percentage. The, wow, protective pirouette, which we don't see too often unless it's being specifically used for some sort of counter. Ooh, the spin coming out from Aaron and Tropa Suprema. They have managed to take back this hot zone control. They're not going to equalize the percentage just yet. They got to dissect their enemy, but rather it looks like that's happening to them. Queen Knight, they speed in and take control of the point, though. Here comes the speed onto Aaron and Ryohi. The flying hook from Ryohi, but he's not going to find the super just yet, nor is he going to find the kill with his normal attack. He just seems like he can't hit Minmi with some great dodges. Queen Knight now looking to find their footing once again. This is the sort of Queen Knight that we're used to, where they just won't leave the point. Mole gets taken down. Aaron is the next to fall, and Queen Knight will be taking game number 2. And like you said, Teddy, this is the match point twice in a row. It's still match point for Tropa Suprema, but I mean, it's absolutely the truest definition of a reverse sweep for Queen Knight if they can keep up this pace.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Comebacks need to start somewhere, and this is the situation for it. It's still a journey ahead of them, that's for sure. But if they pick up this game, they create some space, they remove those match points, that constant threat, and maybe they can make it happen. I mean, I think that comebacks are the most likely when it's the underdog that is on the back foot and that is in a comeback situation, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, it can really depend. So far, the results is really tough to analyze out of one match, especially since it could be the better game modes from Tropa coming in first, and this could turn around. Things are lining up for a potential comeback here. We'll just have to see how Queen Nai are able to capitalize off that momentum and if they can build up any.
Momentum is absolutely key. Tropa Suprema, right? This is, you know, their closest they are gonna be to victory, right? It's the closest you can be to victory, is one game away. They can afford one mistake, but they can't afford another. Here it comes. It's going to be the Gene, Pam, and Max from Tropa Suprema. Queen Nai, though, running the same thing as last time, and they are not going to be leaving this point. Here comes the pull. Dimsy, though, dashes back out. Mole, get over here, says Minmi. And Queen Nai will be keeping the control of mid, despite a few percentages going the way of Tropa Suprema. Looks like Tropa Suprema, they're getting a little bit over-aggressive here. We did see them starting to rush out one by one, but they quickly recovered. Now they're looking for that pull. Great dash from Dimsy. And Tropa Suprema, they are not going down quite yet. They're forcing themselves onto this point. Brute Force Mole gets tossed back by the Lamp Bra, and Queen Nai, they are still not leaving. Dimsy goes down, and it's a 2v2 once again. The heal needs to come in from Marlix, but it just isn't gonna pull through. That Poco nerf is hitting hard. Tropa Suprema now looking to bring this one back, though they are at such a deficit, 30%, and Queen Nai, they're back here once again with the whole squad.
Yeah, this is looking really, really good for Queen Nai. They have full-on center control, and Tropa Suprema know this game and set is over. It's going to be 2-1 in sets as Queen Nai pick up their first set. Not exactly what I expected to be saying in this match, but it is where we are right now. A comeback situation for Queen Nai. They still got a couple of sets to go before they are out of trouble, but they're on the right track so far.
Yeah, I think this is interesting. We've seen every single set go 2-1, you know, whichever way the balance is tipped, but still, every single set has been 2-1. It is as even as it can get. Tropa Suprema looks like they just happened to win the first 2 sets. Queen Nai finally, you know, looking a little bit like we're used to, right? And of course, by that, I mean winning, right? Winning their sets. We'll have to see, though, if Tropa Suprema once again manages to win just a single game. They will bring themselves to match point. Queen Nai, they gotta win every single set from here on out. It is a definition of a reverse sweep. It's a complete uphill battle, but we have seen the momentum change hands. It's looking great for Queen Nai, especially compared to just a couple of games ago. Look at their gameplay here. I mean, the speed coming in and then the pull to soon follow. Great teamwork there. It's the definition of what you want to see from the Gene Max combo.
Yeah, I think that, as I said earlier, momentum is going to be so important coming into this comeback situation, as Queen Nai, if first of all, if they can start building up on that, they can become absolutely unstoppable. But Tropa Suprema, they can also start getting demotivated, start feeling like they're losing it and that they lost their chance to closing out the match. It's going to be a tough one, and honestly, I'm starting to believe more and more in Queen Nai. Obviously, we'll have to see in play how it's gonna go down. Factory Rush is gonna be what we will be seeing here for some siege action. Potentially, if we go all the way, we'll have Canal Grande and Bounty later on. On this map, I'm still very unsure at what the meta looks like. I've seen everything and nothing. Sometimes you see some sharpshooters, some very long-range brawlers. Sometimes you end up seeing some chores or Mortis matchups on the right lane. Just the weirdest stuff can happen on this map, and I still feel like the meta has yet to be really established on Factory Rush.
Yeah, I mean, we see some odd picks here and there, right? I mean, I promise, I'm not a Lu fanboy, right? But the Lu is possible to get an amazing defense. We're not going to see that, though. Looks like both of these teams, they kind of have like a select pool of brawlers that they go for. Ruffs is one of them. In fact, it looks like we actually have a mirror match on our hands here. Queen Nai, they are going to be having to defend against this level 3 siege bot headed their way. Tropa Suprema looking to take advantage of this one, only by means of getting that mid control. It's so important. Queen Nai, though, they're going to get this advantage to, you know, kind of regroup, re-strategize a little bit, and they're pushing in once again. Aaron looks for this pull. He was looking for it on Marlix, but the sandbags come out, and it's not going to find that pull on a Marlix. Bit of a rush pull there from Aaron, who is going to be, not taken down and doesn't get pulled either. Queen Nai and Tropa Suprema tied up here on the bolt count practically. Tropa Suprema ahead by just a small margin at this point. Great pull there from Aaron. And yet another bot coming in from Tropa Suprema. The Queen Nai, they're setting themselves up for a good time on the final siege, so they could bring it back there. Tropa Suprema, they don't need to fully commit here, though it might be a good idea, especially with this wall broken open for the offense.
Yeah, so far they haven't been able to find a whole lot of damage. That 30% is better than none, but it's still not the most impressive. The kill onto Menmi, though, is going to be absolutely huge, as this creates a big opening and going to make it very complicated to hold on to any sort of control here. Queen Nai, they lose another member. Things are looking pretty blurry as Tropa Suprema are able to catch up in bolts and actually just take the lead. They are going to get the final siege bot. This is going to be another game going the way of Tropa Suprema, and this will put them directly on match point once more. They want to go for a dive. They want to try something, Queen Nai. They don't want to surrender here, but there's just not much they can do at this point.
Yeah, watching this bot get pulled all over the place is a bit comical, because the fate has already been sealed. There is not going to be, enough brawlers in this match, even just placed right at the radius of that Ike, to get enough damage to out damage that bot and get that offense. And like you said, once again, Tropa Suprema, they are one game away from grabbing this victory. We thought that the momentum had changed hands, but we see every single win there as far as the siege bots going the way of Tropa Suprema. I mean, that last bot, here we saw that pull from Menmi, right? Just anything to try and keep that bot away. It was a max range pull as well, and so much defense coming out from these guys, but it was not enough to deal with the level 10 bot. It's going to come down to, I believe, who gets that first bolt, because Queen Nai, they were not really able to get any bolts off of that first siege. We might see the Carl coming out this time with the flying hook just to deal with that. So maybe we'll see a mirror match once again, Teddy.
That is very much possible. Mortis could be an option as well, of course. I mean, this is absolutely amazing for Tropa. They are stopping the momentum that Queen Nai was building up, not letting it build up furthermore, and just putting them right under pressure again. And this is just terrible momentum-wise, right? You have to realize that Queen Nai, they were in 2 match points in favor of Tropa in our previous set, and then suddenly when they do manage to reverse sweep that third set, it's immediately match point again for Tropa, and just making the situation very dire, very desperate for Queen Nai. This is a pretty solid start from Tropa. Once more, they get the 3 first bolts. That's going to be the first siege bot heading their way.
Ouch.
Level 4 bot, and sure, Queen Eye will find a couple of bolts for the next one. The control is still very much going to be in favor of Tropa of that first siege bot.
Yeah, we're going to see a solid difference from these guys, but I mean, 2 bolts, it's not going to really make that much of a difference when you have no control over mid. Though, one thing is for certain, Dempsey is all powered up and he's ready to go, and we don't see any power-ups until now. Mole does get powered up, but a great kill. Dempsey also falls. Mole is the next to go. Aaron is about to fall just as well. A great pull. And Mimi picks up that power up. Queen Nye finally taking back the mid control, and it looks like they are also going to get this next bot. Tropa Suprema, they only have 1 bolt to their name, and they're going to be fighting on defense this time. 2 seconds till that bot comes in. What level is it going to be? Level 8 from Queen Nye. They're going to keep this mid control and grab yet another bolt, almost tying things up for our 3rd siege, though. Tropa Suprema, it doesn't even matter really if it's tied. Tropa Suprema, they are so behind right now having to defend against this bot. They gotta retake it.
Yeah, very, very clean defense, especially considering Aaron still has that gene pool available. A miss from Menmi could be quite big. The ball difference is not large, but they need to connect it. Aaron is so low HP, hasn't used his bullet yet, only 12 seconds left. He's gonna pull the sandbag and go down. This is a bit of a disaster for Tropa Suprema as Queen Nye are gonna have the final siege. Oh, they already have the damage lead as well. This is gonna be Queen Nye picking up this game, tying things up in this set, and now they're only 1 game away from tying things up and pushing things to set number 5.
You know, at this point, I'm starting to question whether, you know, match point is really that significant, right? We've seen these guys at match point so many times, and it just doesn't seem to phase them. They're still able to come back and get the win. We're going to be once again heading into match point, but as I was saying, right, does it even matter? It's just like Queen Nye, they're planning on winning at least 2 games in every single set. It just happens that Tropa Suprema is getting that first game win, and Queen Nye, they're still taking the set. We are once again heading to match point 1-1. Though, let's get a recap of our last game, Teddy.
Yeah, I think that knowing us, you probably just jinx it. Ready, set. I think it's gonna be 3-1 and it's gonna be over now. Just because we said that Queen Eye were able to come back so well out of those sticky situations, but. I mean, yeah, we have to be realistic, right? It's still match point for Tropa. They could still close it out here in set number 4, but also there's a real possibility for Queen Nye to push things to set 5, and that's going to be quite demoralizing for Tropa. Having 4 match points and ending up going to set 5 would be absolutely devastating, especially if they end up losing that 5th set. Now, we're not there yet. Tropa can still get out of this semi-final and move on to the grand finals in 4 sets, but it is looking like the chances are slimmer and slimmer by each game we go through.
Yeah, and I mean, just the prospect of heading into Canal Grand is extremely discouraging, I believe. Oh my gosh, we finally see a Lou coming out, and in the same game as Mortis and Daryl, I'm definitely dreaming here. Someone pinch me. Tropa Suprema, they are bringing out everything they got, pulling out all the stops, and we don't see Rio be able to secure that kill on the Dempsey. Dempsey's going to pick up that bolt. Tropa Suprema, they do get the first siege bot for themselves. 2 bolts on the side of Queen Nye, but this is sort of a callback to what we saw in our last game. Tropa Suprema, they managed to get that first bot. Queen Nye with the nice setup for the next one. Yeah, Rio, he thought about it, but he wasn't able to get in there. That bot falls too quickly. A 100% defense from Queen Nye. And once again, we're going to see Tropa Suprema sort of on the back foot as they go for the fight on mid. 2 Lu Supers on the field, and Mole has established so much control. The freeze on a Minmi. What is he doing? Mole almost gets yet another kill on a Minmi, but one thing is for certain, it is so close here on our second siege.
Yeah, I don't know how well the Lu is gonna do in defense if it comes to it. Actually, we might be seeing a draw right now. Yup, it is gonna be a tie. And this means that this final siege bot is gonna decide it all if we go to set 5 or if Tropa Suprema secure the win. But a nice skill here is gonna be the opening that they need to pick up a couple of bolts, and now Queen Nai, the pressure is up. They need to clutch up as they are behind by 4 bolts. This is looking really good for Tropa, although they do get wiped out. Queen Nai, they should have enough time to catch up. This final retake is gonna be everything or nothing for Tropa Suprema.
Yep, just 3 bolts away, now 2, now 1 bolt away. And we do see the counts equalize. Aaron picks up a bolt for himself. Another one going to Minmi, another one going to Aaron. Is it going to be yet another tie? It just might be. No, the bolt was flying through the air. 15-16, and Queen Nai will be getting this bot. Do we see the defense though? The bot walks the opposite way. It's not going to be walking through the ice. Just 1 tick of damage, 97%. Could decide whether we head onto Canal Grand, and it in fact it's not going to be 1%. It is going to be 58%. But Queen Nai, they're taking us all the way to Canal Grand. But I mean, let's be realistic, right? You know, playing Canal Grand or, you know, just losing and dropping out of the semifinals, I don't know which one is like a worse fate. As far as a player's perspective, I think, you know, Canal Grand is just sort of this dreaded one. You're forced to play Bounty for 2 minutes and 30 seconds no matter what, and on a map that can be so frustrating, especially when Sprout, you know, is still a possibility here. I think we have an amazing set 5 coming up.
Ready, I'm terrified, man. I'm terrified. I do love underdog stories myself. And man, you're the underdog. You're winning 2-0 in sets. You have 4 match points. I repeat, 4 match points. And you end up going to set number 5 as Queen Nai are pulling off quite an impressive comeback here. Man, that's just absolutely insane. And one set is going to decide it all here to set those teams apart. Tropa Suprema, Queen Nai, they have been battling it out quite fiercely in what could be one of the biggest comebacks in this region's history. We'll have to see if they can actually pull it off and close it out in our 5th set of this semifinal. I just want to remind you, Reddy, that our other matches of the day, they were all clean sweeps. Every time the winning team won every single game of the match. This time around, we are going to set 5, and this is potentially setting a bit of a tone as well for our grand finals. But Canal Grande is gonna be the playing field for this final set. This is gonna decide it all for who between Tropa Suprema and Queen Nai are gonna be attending the grand finals.
I mean, call it Canal Grand Finals, right? I think that's like a sort of an appropriate name for the map here because it is the decider. And if every single game and set before this one does, you know, set a precedent for our final one, we are going to have a very close one. It's going to be absolutely exhilarating, especially because just off the first game, we're already going to see the match point in favor of one team or the other. That's why our 5th set is so exhilarating. Looks like still though 20% of people believe in Tropa here. We have a few people that converted over to Tropa's side, but I'm surprised to see how resilient the Queen Nai supporters are. We will see what the reality is here. No Sprout this time. Looks like Rio, he was very well prepared for the Sprout to come out, but it's just not going to be a reality. The Poco and Mortis, they're going to struggle to find some targets here in set number 5.
Yeah, this is not going to be that easy for either side. So obviously that blue star is going to be a nice asset for Tropa to try to force an engagement from Queen Nai, but Menmi already has a pull. If you can just connect that pull, that could be game-changing. That could be the match point that they were hoping for. Rio gonna have to back off as that ticket heads its way, but Mo and Aaron are able to take it down. I think there was a mispull from Menmi, but Rio is going in for the kill anyways, and he's gonna get taken out. Nice sandbags, double kill for Queen Nai. They take the 3-star lead, and with a minute left on the clock. We need a clutch from Tropa Suprema, unless they want Queen Nai to get to match point.
Yeah, well, they are going to be able to deny Queen Nai from picking up that power-up on the left side, so that's at least something. Aaron also ready with this pull. Really, if Tropa Suprema can just pin them down, wow, and a massive missed pull there from Menmi. Ryo, he's going to bait it out, and he's going to run back with it. He's not going to be able to take out this Tick Super. We do see the kill on that, though. Queen Nai, they did manage to push out of a really, uncomfortable situation. Ryo, he's ready to try and bait out some attacks or get some damage. He wants that Super, does manage to get the triple bats. And Mole is pushing up here with the Super once again. Here comes the kill on the Menmi and the retake of the blue star. Tropa Suprema, they're now in the lead with 10 seconds left, but Queen Nai, they fire back. It all comes down to Aaron and Ryogi to bring it back. The pull on Ryogi, and it could not be more decisively in Queen Nai's favor. That is going to be a Queen Nai match point after so many games where it was a Tropa Suprema match. I mean, this is looking great for Queen Nai. Tropa Suprema, they have now effectively been brought to their knees. Now they are the ones on the back foot.
What a comeback and back and forth game this was. Queen Nai with their first match point on the line here. Man, once again, Tropa Suprema, they've had 4 match points already. Now it's the first time that they have their backs against the wall and that they are being pressured, that they are in a do-or-die situation, and that one loss is going to end their journey in this monthly final.
I think, honestly, the difference between, match point for Tropa Suprema and match point for Queen Nai all came down to, like, that one Poco kill, right? We saw the retake of the 4 stars and then the blue star, and it was just like an absolute dream there for Tropa Suprema, but Poco falls, and then the tide of the match turns once again. And yes, I mean tide of the match, because it's all, up on this next game. Are we going to be heading to the double match point, or are we going to be heading to Queen Nai and they're going to the grand finals? Canal grand finals looking very clean. Really, well, actually, what am I saying? It's not looking clean for either team. It's been so close this entire time.
Yeah, this has been quite a close journey for those teams. I don't think most of us expected this match to go all the way, but here we are, match point for Queen Nai. This is their chance to reverse sweep Tropa Suprema, but the blue star is going the way of Tropa, which should be setting up the pace again. And honestly, I feel like they have a better comp to holding on to that control, because they have a bit more spam, whereas with a Mortis, you're kind of just left sitting in a bush and your opponents can get quite close and just spam you out of position. This is going to be a better chance for Tropa, and maybe they can push things to double match points.
Yeah, this is looking way better for Tropa. I mean, they were able to, pretty much compete toe-to-toe with Queen Nai with the Mortis sort of disadvantage, call it what you want. But this time, with a different comp, they already have that blue star. They just got to hold on to it as long as possible. As far as, blue star holding candidates, I got to say, Tick is probably the best one, since he does have that last hurrah to his name. Ryo, he's going to be locking down the control around spawn. Menmi is trying to push up, but it's just, not going to be that easy to contend with the Sprout. Really, he's looking to be a distraction. Mole now left back here, going to be using not going to get that pull, but the super from Colonel Ruffs is going to find its target. It's going to hit it smart. Queen Nai now in the lead. 30 seconds remain, and they do have the star advantage as well as that blue star.
Oh, well, no more star advantage as Ryo just picks up a kill and Tropa take a 2-star lead. That does mean, especially with blue star and Queen Nai, that 1 kill on anyone would be enough to take back the lead for Queen Nai. 15 seconds left. Can they make this happen? They do find some decent damage. Mo gonna pop his last hurrah. They are quite low HP. 5 more seconds. Can they find a kill? This is close. 3 seconds. Oh my god, so much damage, but it's not gonna be enough. Tropa Suprema with the blue star able to make the difference here, as we were all tied up 11 stars each. Tropa Suprema pushing things to double match point. What is this ridiculous match, Reddy?
did they have to like really wait to the last second? I mean, you know, they could have gotten some kills with like 2 seconds left, so it, you know, didn't just all like just basically, you know, it was too much happening at once. It's like overstimulation. My brain was fried. I wasn't able to process it all at the same time. We're gonna have to watch the replay. Here are the last few seconds of the match. Marlick's going in, the pull from Aaron to secure the kill, and then the Colonel Ruff super. Dempsey also falls at the same time. That crucial kill right at the end. It was so close. Pretty much everyone on the match was at one hit. So crazy close there. Ryohei, though, definitely takes a cake for getting the most kills and the most stars. A key kill there right towards the end of the match. But man, what a match was this. Yeah, mind blown here. And the double match point. I didn't think we'd be seeing it, seeing as Tropa Suprema. They brought us to match point in set number 3, but man, we've pretty much overused this term match point. Throw it out the window. Let's get a new term. It's a close match, man. It's a close match.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to describe it, Reddy. We've had 5 match points, and I'm going to use that word very carefully in favor of Tropa Suprema. This match is just perfect, right? You have 2 very compelling stories. You have Tropa Suprema with the underdog story, and then you have Queen Nai with the full-on reverse sweep comeback. And it's all coming down to a double match point situation, with both teams being a game away from the grand finals. I think that's as good as it gets, Ready.
Yeah, honestly, like, I almost don't want it to end. I know Teddy wants it to end. It's like 6:30 a.m. where he is, but like, honestly, you know, I think it's worth staying up for, right? I don't want to put words into Teddy's mouth, but man, this has gone back and forth, right? This is like easily the most entertaining match I've ever watched, since it looked to be clearly in one team's favor, right? Queen Nai, and then Tropa Suprema shows that, no, you know, we're going to take you to match point. Queen Nai says, well, we don't mind being at match point every single step of the way, and we're going to take it all the way to the last game of the last set. It's so exhilarating. Can we just have Jupiter, you know, play someone else and, you know, postpone this for later? Because I don't want it to end, man. I don't want to see the end of it. I'm going to be happy and sad at the same time.
Yeah, well, that is how it is, Ready. That's why you shouldn't get attached to the teams and be an unbiased caster like myself. Always unbiased. Yeah, this is just a little reminder of the prediction that you guys at home had. 80% favoring Queen Nai in this one. And it's coming down to double match point, guys. I mean, you know, if you look statistically, so far, Queen Nai has been able to defend those match points really consistently, which could be quite clutch if they can keep that composure and be able to perform under pressure, under stress so well in this next game. If they can apply that, they have a really, really solid chance at going to those grand finals once more. Tropa Suprema, you know, they've had 5 match points. I think they really want to close it out this time around.
Yeah, we'll see very different comps from both teams this time. We see the Edgar coming in. Aaron not going to find a kill off that, though. Ryohei looks for the kill, does get that combo spinner as well. Tropa Suprema barely leading here with that blue star. Ryohei ready with the bats. He does find one target, though. He does get taken down by Dempsey. It's back and forth and back and forth. Queen Nai setting up on the left side of the map, and that looks like, you know, that's where they're gonna kind of camp out and make their little space for themselves. 2 supers on the side of Queen Nai. Here comes a speed as they rush around to the right side. Minmi ready with the pull whenever the opportunity arrives. Ryohei lurking in the bushes, looking for a target. He needs to get that super up, and he needs for Mole to have that super for support. Does go down with no support from himself or from Mole, because, well, no supers. Mole is hanging on to the super as best as he can, is forced to use it on Aaron. And Queen Nai, they are ahead now by a significant margin in the last minute of this match.
Oh my, this is a bit of a disaster for Tropa Suprema. Aaron has a shot at taking down Marlix, will do that. It's only a 4-star difference. That's not an unwinnable situation. Dempsey is able to get out of that pinch, and that's going to be Queen Nai now with the 6-star lead, blue star on their side as well, and things are looking quite dangerous for Tropa. 30 seconds left in this game, and they need nothing short of a miracle to come back in this one.
Yeah, the ideal scenario for Tropa Suprema is to push Queen Knight all the way back to their back to their respawn. Queen Knight, they're not having it. Here comes the speed around the left side. Aaron was perfectly poised to close Queen Knight into their spawn. Here comes the pole. Mole goes down. There's no support for his teammates. Aaron is the last hope for Tropa Suprema, but he's not going to be able to get it. Queen Knight will be headed to the grand finals. Congratulations, Marlix Midme and Dempsey, though. You know, this isn't a complete loss for Tropa Suprema because they have really battered and bruised these guys over the course of the last 5 sets. In every single game that they played the max amount of sets, the max amount of games. And, you know, at this point, is this a warm-up for Queen Knight, right? Is this a warm-up, or is this, you know, a sort of a weakening of the enemy for Jupiter, right? We're gonna see, but I think we're headed straight into this fantastic match, a grudge match as well between these two teams.
Dude, this was one phenomenal match. Honestly, I almost shed a tear here for Tropa Suprema. Man, 5 match points, that is a heartbreaking way to lose your match and get reverse swept. With that being said, we are slowly heading towards our grand finals. As you said, 2 teams that have a history against each other. Queen Knight being our nemesis of Jupiter in the region, but Jupiter has been the team winning much more consistently so far, as they have won every monthly final so far. Queen Knight do want that this time around and try to take that trophy away. It's going to be a bit of a challenge, but they just came back from one where they fought valiantly. Beautiful play, wasn't it?
Oh, beautiful. I don't even know. That was like I will reserve my comments. That really hurt my soul to watch that happen, is all I will say. This is where it got so close between Queen Knight and Tropa Suprema. We knew it was going to be a close match, but it looked like, you know, just pretty much every step of the way, Tropa Suprema, they were in the lead. And of course, Queen Knight, they started bringing it back here on Siege. We thought, you know, Tropa Suprema, they were going to be able to get this match point and bring it to a 3-1 win and their ticket to the grand finals. But I mean, right here at the end, this one was absolutely exhilarating. Tropa Suprema keeping themselves in the game right towards the end. Here's the, I mean, of course, our MVP, Menmi, dealing 32% of the damage, right? Not really his claim to fame. Of course, he does manage to get loads of support for his teammates with those gene pulls, because of course, you're playing gene, right? You have good damage, but you're not getting the pull just for yourself. You're getting the pull for your teammates to be able to finish off that kill.
Yeah, that was overall just a really strong performance from Queen Knight, man. The nerves must have been just like, they're built different, man. Like, how do you fight off 5 match points and still win the match? That just doesn't, like, the math doesn't add up. Those guys are not human, and they will have to keep playing like those robots to stand a chance against Jupiter. Jupiter is just that good, so this is gonna be quite a challenge in the grand finals.
Yeah, I just did the math and it doesn't add up, Teddy, right? But
thank you.
Let's take
through some of this. That'd be fantastic.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, Jupiter, Queen Knight, the most likely candidates so far for heading on to Worlds, though. Tropa Suprema, they were looking quite nice versus Queen Knight. Of course, WNS and Tropa Suprema, you know, pretty tied up here. WNS, we didn't see them this year, actually, or not this year, this month, jeez. But in our past months, they have had a really nice performance as well. Tropa Suprema and Queen Knight probably, you know, going to be fighting over the spot, especially considering what a close match it was. We'll also see Tropa Suprema and Jupiter face off in the upcoming months, though I think one thing is going to remain consistent as well, and that is that we're going to see Tropa Suprema change up their name once again, so it's not going to be Tropa Suprema versus Jupiter. It's going to be something else versus Jupiter or versus Queen Knight. I'm looking forward to
Plays is what it's all about here. This was a moment that we saw in a Hot Zone. I believe that, Reddy, you were casting this when I was watching in awe. Talk us through what happened here in these final closing moments.
Yeah, I mean, Tropa Suprema, right? Looking to bring this one back here. Marlix is ready with the pull, the speed as well. And Tropa Suprema, they're looking so strong on this point. Some good shots from Dempsey as well, but here comes Marlix with the pull, and it's all just coming together. Queen and I looking to take back the control of the point, but Tropa Suprema, they just won't leave. And it was so close, it got to 99% to 100. Queen and I, they're looking to bring it back. Look how close it got. They managed to take it back, Tropa Suprema. I mean, Queen and I, they were coming back for the take back of the century. I think really if we just seen Queen 9 move on the point just a moment sooner, then it could have, you know, gone slightly differently, but slightly differently is all we needed really to see, you know, the 100% versus the 99% there. It was so close. Of course, that one went to Queen 9, but Tropa Suprema, I mean, showing that they are a strong competitor and they're able to compete toe-to-toe with Queen 9, or likely candidate for our second team heading to Worlds.
How often do you ever see a match go to a 1% difference on Hot Zone with 100 to 9? I mean, just mind-blowing, absolutely mind-blowing. We're going to take a look at the leading teams across